Tuesday, March the 24th, 2020. And we also say it's 365 days of awesome. Celebrate service. Celebrate service is what we are all about. And today we're going to be honoring, or actually, in a way, re-honoring Amy Morrison because she was actually nominated and then honored as a service hero with a partner way back in the day out of the Los Angeles area. We did a live show. It was a lot of fun. And then from there, we have been involved in so many things, and we'll talk about that. But I want to say welcome, Amy.
Hi, Tamara. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I miss you. I missed everybody.
and we're going to talk about that because, many people, I'm sure, will recognize your face. Many people from my page are going to recognize your face because you and I were every morning we would join together for public service announcements, and because we were educating about a cause. You helped me because it was a cause that's very near and dear to your heart. And then when you and I were visiting yesterday, you again were telling me, okay, this is what I'm doing. I am doing this. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't surprise me. So we're going to start with what you're doing right now. And then we're going to take it to the backstory. So you had told me that recently you had contacted Misty Lane, who many of us know and love. Be that one is her tagline. She was in the Next Impactor. She came in as number 3 in the world for the Next Impactor contest, and she is right now in the front lines when it comes to what is happening with the pandemic, with COVID-19. And so you contacted her in regards to what?
Well, I have a friend that I was in the hospital. If you might kind of go okay to go the backstory that way a little bit, or do you want me to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's start.
Because she ties in. She really ties in.
I know she does. I know. Like, well, let's just, I'm going to start with this, and then we're going to go backwards. Okay. You recently have been dealing with there's a lack of supplies for the medical world. And you recently took it on yourself, like you always do, to find a way to serve. And you find unique ways to serve. And so you found a way to serve in regards to the masks. And you took that to Misty Lane, right?
Right. So in our area, there are people sewing masks so they can put them over their original respirator so that it will prolong the life. And I kept thinking, everybody's got something they're kind of doing. What can I do to kind of help? I don't really know how to sew. I don't have a sewing machine. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have masks from me visiting my friend Carla in the hospital last month. And now at the time I was sending her that message, I just thought I had masks. Kind of like what they just said, put it over the one you have. And I look in my car because I'm like, I know I had another one. Gave one to my daughter, and it was just like a regular one from that hospital. Now I didn't take them. Put that way. This is before all that was happening.
Right. No, but I mean, what we're doing right now is, don't worry. Okay, guys, you're gonna have some fun today. Let's just promise you that, because it is always fun with Amy in the house. Amy, no one would ever know. Anybody that knows you would never even think that. But and this is why I wanted to really talk about this story, is because many of us have been there and we've done that. We don't even think anything of it. We may have kept them, we may not have. However, we many of us go to wherever it may be, and whatever reason it may be that we weren't sick. We were there. We had it to protect ourselves or to protect the person we were visiting with. And so that is the situation. You had gone, you were protecting someone else. So you
Right.
knew at the time there was no problem that it would have been affected by anything that you were dealing with. It wasn't like you were sick and you were trying to take it, because we need to also let that be known. But okay,
Mhm.
so you're
Yeah.
thinking outside the box, and no, you didn't just take it, and you're not hoarding them or any of that kind of stuff, for the record. And you're thinking, how can I make a difference? I don't have a sewing machine. I can't be involved in the little sewing clubs and teams and everything that's going on in my neck of the woods. So
Mhm.
you did a little bit of checking, and what did you find out?
Well, I did contact a girlfriend that's in town to make sure that, okay, get local first. And she has enough where she's at her hospital. So I'm like, okay, Misty. So I sent her a message. But that's when I realized I think I have a different one. And so this is what's key, because I didn't know I had it. I didn't know I had this one. I didn't realize this is what it was. It is the N95, right? The blue one.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, oh, and she's like, that's it. That's the one. I only have two of those, Amy. So she goes, throughout the duration, she's only going to have two. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, because it really ties into chemo buddies.
Yeah. Okay, so this is why we're on today. We're like, this is current event stuff. Like, remember in school, social studies and such, and you get the newspaper. At least for me, it was before pre-internet. Wink, wink, guys. Yeah. And so
Yeah,
you get the newspaper, and you're like, oh, I'm up for current events today, so I got to see
yeah,
what's going on. So you go down, oh, this one sounds interesting. I can talk about that. Well, this is one of those situations. This is truly a current event situation. We are in the middle right now of shortages. They are in the process of coming up with unique solutions, of which I was involved with my leadership team, which is a core leadership group that we're calling fire what is it? Light the Fire. Light the Fire is the core leadership group that we just had a meeting, and one of our members of that was talking about a local company that's actually a national company. It's a
wow,
fabrics company. And so he actually did some checking into it and got back to me, he and his wife, and got back to me today. They're out of Phoenix. Phoenix. You're
wow.
out of what area of the United States?
Seattle, where
See,
it started. I'm 15 minutes from where the first case is in the U.S.
so
That's why we're
literally
getting
what,
hit
yeah,
hard.
literally what you would call the hotbed.
Yeah,
And that's not unusual for you. It's like you're in the middle of nowhere in a way, and yet when we were talking about the fusion project, you're right there. When we were talking about all this other stuff, you're like right there. What is it about your little neck of the woods that's that you kind of like, okay, I'm in the
oh,
middle of it. However, again, this is where Service Heroes show right now, if anybody's been watching it over the last couple days, you're probably seeing a common theme, and that is, how can that, if you will, everyday person do something to help? Because that's what, when you look at
yeah,
history, that's what makes the difference. You look at how World War II, what did the people in the United States, and I know this is a worldwide
right?
show, however, you look at what everybody did. They did bring out the this, bring out the that, and they did that throughout
Yeah,
the world. And so that they could make a difference and overcome the adversary. At the time, it was an adversary that was producing a lot of darkness in the world. Right now, they're saying that we are in a situation similar, different,
yeah,
but similar, because our adversary is cellular, and it is a virus. And so you, being the Amy Morrison that I know and love, just put your little thinking cap on in regards to the masks, and you started doing some research. You got that mask. I'm going to go a little further back. I'm going to
okay.
go a little further back. I'm going to start back to you and I met face to face. You were at the time doing a show every day, or a lot of the time, with a partner. that a lot of people know and love that show and what was happening there. Why don't you tell people that don't know what the name of it was and what it was all about? Why don't you tell us a little bit?
That was the Friend Zone. It's still there. We can't do it right now. So that's how we did meet, is through the Friend Zone that we created. And it was a place to connect. That was the whole goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what happened. Many people are still connected through that. I love watching everybody still kind of talk with each other that met through there. And whether it was business, heart connections, I would say mainly heart connections. There were some people that, did make business connections, and a small business, we need to help each other, right?
Yeah.
And we really get that now. So yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, the stories we'd hear back. If you didn't have so and so on your show, I wouldn't have known I was like really going through that, or now I know I'm not alone, or healing happened. So it's just very honored to be a part of such a thing. It was like walking on that holy ground situation of we would say many times, what's happening here? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, okay, we had one of those experiences. What's happening here? I'll never forget. It was that I was supposed to be a guest, and it was the time that the internet kind of fell apart and went away, right? Facebook went away, YouTube we couldn't get on, and all the different social media was having trauma and drama. And so what did we end up doing?
Like, they're not gonna win. We were beating anyway.
and so we were doing this thing on our phone, and then someone pushes a button, and so all of a sudden we have these cats all over us, and fun, and that was the thing that was that I remember about what we were doing during that period of time. And we would talk about serious subjects. You would have serious subjects in there. You would just dive right in, the two of you, because it was Tina and yourself or other guests that would come in and guest host, and you would just dive right in. There was always some way to laugh a lot. And many tears would also come, flying out of our faces. And then we would be doing both. And then I remember having, I looked for the picture, I didn't find it, but I remember having the marathon, friend zone things, that it was like, we would start having, you would throw the link out, and people were starting to just kind of show up, right?
The show would take a life of its own. Most of the time.
Most every time, I would say. and then you had no mercy sometimes. You're like, oh, I'm gonna call this person out, and then that person, I'll never forget the Teresa Schneider call out.
I was just gonna say that, Mikey. Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And so then when we decided to do the public service announcements for the Fusion Project, you were amazing. And we already knew we had fun. And I'm actually going to take us back to one other incident in a minute that's going to tie this all together, guys. And that is, okay, so we decide, because I'm running for the next impactor on the platform, basically, of Chemo Buddies for Life, of which, I'm all in, guys. Anybody that knows, I'm all in with that. However, Service Heroes Show is about others that are doing amazing, wonderful things. And so I know a lot of really awesome people doing a lot of amazing things, and we're going to be bringing some of them back onto the show, because we've done like 400 shows, I think. It's a lot of shows, and so there's a lot of let's touch base with people. And what you and I ended up doing, because the Fusion Project was really one that you could get behind, and that was My team on the next impactor, the way it worked was that you picked one nonprofit, and it couldn't be anything that anybody that was running was associated with. So Chemo Buddies got kind of kicked out. However, in the end, to win, Chemo Buddies was going to win too. So when the Fusion Project was picked, it was a collective decision, of which my coach, Todd Special, kind of oversaw. And the Fusion Project was something that you then researched, and you came to me and you said, what can I do, right?
Yeah, it's right up my alley, especially with the young girls. I could relate in areas between the self-esteem, everything like that could have made a difference for me is what I see.
Uh-huh. And for anybody that doesn't know what the Fusion Project is, do you want to kind of bring them up to date with it, and let them know?
Yeah, the Fusion Project builds girls' self-esteem, self-confidence, which we learned there is a difference. We learned a lot.
We did.
I never focused on that before.
Right.
So it'd be fun to go back to watch some of those because we learned a lot too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they build their self-esteem so they aren't victim targets for sex trafficking, bullying, and yes, I never knew this happened or was aware that girls and boys too can get in abusive relationships in their teen years.
Right.
Not know that was a thing, and I could have been going through it and didn't know it was a thing.
Right. And I want to let everybody know that lately my app and a lot of people that are having anything to do with the internet, things are a little slow and cattywampus lately. And so sometimes I see your comments and I can share them. Sometimes I'm delayed. And so if you're not seeing me put them up, just know that I probably can't yet. And at some point, if I can, I will. And so we were every morning we would join together, no matter what. Some days it was the ball cap, some days it was whatever. However, we got out there and we were talking about public service announcements. Did you know? We were educating on what was happening. And yes, in that, we were educating ourselves. And it was very eye-opening as to what, in that one niche, we didn't know. And we thought we did. Right? We thought we both did know what was going on, but when you start digging into something, and that's where we're going with this, when you start digging into something, you realize, oh, wow, I thought I knew about that. However, there's urban legends that sometimes we think are fact, right?
Yeah. Didn't know. That's what I didn't know.
Right. And we ended up finding out that we ended up knowing that we didn't know a lot. Yet we were learning a lot and we were bringing it. And sometimes it was not easy to talk about, right? No.
We'd come up afterwards. We're like, oh my God. You guys just didn't see it. We're like, oh my God.
Can you believe that one? I know. And then we would sometimes even cry together because it was just that information sometimes is that tough. And so when you can have things like this, this was when you and Tina
you got it.
decided to join me in the very first what we called the telethon, and we called it the Service Heroes Telethon to benefit Chemo Buddies for Life. You guys were the notorious fourth hour, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, and how we're going to talk about how you're talking about how do you add humor into something that's serious. And yeah, Tina and I were concerned. You knew our concern. We were like,
yeah.
And just us being us, the four of us, just being who we are is what.
Right.
God brought it out of us.
Absolutely. Anybody that wants to know what we're talking about, you can go onto YouTube or you can go here way back because it was in 2018. Giving Tuesday that we did, and it was hour number 4, and we started at midnight, so that was 4 o'clock in the morning, guys, and we're all they're in their jammies, and I'm there, and Kelly's there, and Kelly Rodela out of Texas, and we were in Vegas, and you guys were remote, and this was one of our volunteers, and he's over there snoring, and you could hear it in the room. And we were having technical problems, we were having sound problems, but we were talking about Chemo Buddies for Life and cancer and raising funds and awareness and everything. And then we have our volunteer over there sleeping. So Kelly gets this bright idea to take the masking tape and make it outline. And Dr. E.J. Johnson was remote and on in comments, and he's like, okay, we have a corpse volunteer, but no corpse volunteers were hurt in the process of this filming, and literally it was hilarious, given everything that could have gone wrong, and yet we found the humor in it, right?
We were able to still have fun and laughter, healing laughter.
Exactly. And so now you're here with me, and we're talking about what's going on. How are you feeling about today being Tuesday, March the 24th? We're in the middle of, you're in the Seattle area. I'm in the Southern California area. We're both in areas that you could say are quarantined. Some are calling it other things, lockdown, whatever, whatever it may be. We're in the middle of the geographic areas, and it is March the 24th. So how are you feeling about it? How are you doing there?
It's definitely like the consensus is a lot of us we're fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, why am I staring off into space? Or like, wasn't I just doing something? Mm-hmm. So there's a brain fog, it seems like. And there's the, okay, I'm okay. And then all of a sudden, this is weird. So that's the word. A lot of people, my daughter's using that word. I've heard it on TV a lot. It's just weird. We have no comparison to compare this to. So the brain's looking for, what do I compare this to? There isn't. So it's interesting because my daughter and I can relate to her not understanding. I can relate to her because I've never been through it either.
No.
So in our area, it's tough. It's been between the state wanting the money, so they don't close down Boeing, but the people like close down Boeing. It's the largest building, and I think in the world. I believe I did look it up, but Boeing's plant in Everett, where the virus first happened, it's like, we need to shut down, okay? So they finally did. The city, the mayor of Everett closed down the city before the governor shut down the state. She took matters into her own hands, and then, so that was supposed to happen Monday. Then all of a sudden, Boeing shut down in the state. So that I thought you could feel the lightness happen after that. Then it was like, okay, let's.
Okay, so explain that, because some people are probably saying, okay, disconnect in that statement, because there are so many right now that I am talking to, because I'm talking to a lot of people that are saying, I really don't know what I'm going to do because, of my business, or, I'm an employee, or I support this, and, I work for a restaurant, and, a big major employer, there's going to be all those sub businesses around them. And so when Boeing was shut down, how did that create relief?
One thing I compare it to is Monday, and I don't ever really consider myself an empath, but maybe in certain situations, because when they were saying they were going to keep Boeing open, I remember being at work. I have a job that my client, they fix the ambulances across the street in downtown Everett, like 5 minutes from the hospital. They have to stay open. So I cleaned for her, and I was nervous. I didn't want to hear if they decide not to shut down Boeing. I was just like, immediately started crying. I was like, that's a lot of people in a petri dish. So it was that instant of, what's going to happen? So then when it found out they were going to close, it's like, okay, it doesn't have to close forever, everybody. Just for the time being, they closed down at Christmas for a week, the whole plant. This is, do it now. So it did feel like, because that means maybe some people won't be hurt by this. So getting it stopped, because it did feel interesting that I was like, oh, wow, okay. Let's get in control for a week or two and see if it works.
Right, right.
So yeah, we're trying to keep light here at the same time. It's hard to know what to do, what to not do. Where do you help, where do you not help, what's going to put you at risk and not. So I think that's a lot of everybody's, what do we do? So then you just think, well, put the brain to work. Where can I help?
Right, right. And that's your go-to, truthfully. That, that's one of the things that that's why I knew when I was running for the next impactor, and I'm thinking, okay, how do we do this?
Yeah.
And when they said that we could, for anybody that didn't follow it, the bottom line was that there was a lot of things shifting that took place at the very end, the last the last piece of it. And and there for a while, I was kind of lost in it too. When things change, when things shift, you sometimes have to take that time to say, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to be in alignment with me and still make a difference here? And when they did, then we went into that last portion. In the very beginning, I did not engage right away because I wasn't quite clear on how that engagement would look. There were some changes that took place, and then they made it all about that. You could make it all about, it wasn't that you did, you could. It was one of the choices that you could make it all about the nonprofit that you had already chosen. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I can get behind that. So I called the nonprofit executive director, the founder, and I said, okay, what do you need? How can we support you? I want to make it obvious in public, but I want to make some of it not so obvious in public. And so what is it that you need, and how can we make that happen? So then when you contacted me and you're like, okay, I want to help in regards to the Fusion project, and yet, in true disclosure, because of the friends, and I'm just making sure I've got, because of what's happening with this, it's really delayed. So I'm trying to make sure, and I'm going to recognize people that are here in a moment. But because of the friend zone, there were quite a few of the people from the friend zone that are involved with you that were running. And it was like, you really couldn't throw, and nor did I want you to throw your support behind any of the particular contestants, if you will, but you were behind the nonprofit that we were representing. And I'm like, okay, why don't we do this? And so that's why we decided that sometimes you need to get into the tough stuff, into the weeds, if you will, the tough weeds, to make a difference. And it's not always easy, and sometimes it's muck and mire type stuff, but you can actually rise to the occasion and make a difference. And so that's when we came up with the 30 days of public service announcements. And it made a difference, didn't it?
It did. A lot of people kept saying, wow, I didn't know that. Or we got creative in ways to donate.
Right? Yeah, we did. We got very creative. In fact, we got so creative, we created a raffle situation.
Oh, you're ready.
Yeah, and that was fun. And at the end, we did it after the close off, and we had Christopher Kaysen come on, one of the contestants, because we wanted to make sure that people would know nothing was rigged, right? And we had so much fun when the cutoff was done. Okay, it's that, like you experienced with Boeing, that feeling of, okay, we don't know the results, we don't know what's going to happen. However, it was that in between time. time to have some fun, time to let loose. You got to do that when you're in something so big. And at that time, it was huge. Anybody that was involved with the Next Impactor in any which way knew how big it was at that time. The energy was like totally huge. Yet we thought, okay, we're gonna shake it up. We're gonna go cross platform, and Christopher was with Jason Cisneros' team, and he, autism to artism, and we, because we put it out there, who wants to be on and do the raffle thing, and he said, yeah, I will. So we did. It was a blast, right?
So fun. Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, it was fun. Anybody that didn't see that, you got to watch. But the thing here is that we were creative, and in doing that, we ended up being the team for Tot Special, because my team at the end came together, and people didn't really realize that, but they came together for the nonprofit. It was all about the nonprofit, and that's where people come together when there is a cause. And you know what? Think about this, guys. We're going somewhere. They all were contestants, if you will, on my team, but we were all running for one spot, and that was to become the next impactor. Yet the greater cause, the greater good of the nonprofit, the Fusion Project, was what brought us all together. And in the end, our team won the team award for raising the most funds for the nonprofit.
That was so great. To watch team, distinction team. Yeah, right. You were distinction team.
Yeah, it was a team effect. It was a team. We pulled together, and many of the teammates now are working with the nonprofit, that platform that I was there running with. I was under my name, but I was on for the platform of Chemo Buddies for Life. And so where all of this is going is that right now, I put a post out today. I did some research yesterday because something just prompted me to do that. Our country, our world is on high alert, right?
Right.
And there's a really good reason why. Yes, we're battling a foe, we're joining together, we're pulling together, and we're realizing also a lot of people I will say woo-woo, because they do. The woo-woo people were saying, okay, we're in a shift right now. We're in a change. Things are changing, guys. And I had been in a number of meetings where I'm hearing this. Okay, things are changing, and then they're into retrograde and this and that. And I'm not even going to pretend to say I know about any of that. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I never really believed in that stuff either, and then I'm like, what? Okay, whatever.
Well, and I'm not going to say that I don't believe. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My mom was really into all of that, and I witnessed so many things that I can't say I'm not a believer in so much of it, but I haven't studied it, total disclosure. However, with that said, as I'm looking at the numbers and I'm looking at all of this, a light went on top of my head. And something that you said to me yesterday also, in regards to your friend, and we're going to go there in a moment, it really made me do some research. And when I did, I put a post out this morning, because the numbers, like accountants will say, oh, you can adjust this or you can change that. But numbers are numbers, guys. And when you start putting huge numbers together, when you're talking about lives, one is a huge number.
Yeah.
One is a huge number, because if that one is someone that you know and love, including if it's yourself, that one is huge. And so when I was I was looking at, because I have a dear friend, new friend, that was on Jason Cisneros last night, and that's Kevin Russell, and he was talking about um, the Warrior Horse program that he's got going, and about our veterans and how too many of our veterans, they go, they serve, and then they come back to the main, to the United States, and many of them are killing themselves every day. And the numbers are way too big. And his mission is to see that he's joining with others to see that there's not that happening. They go, they serve, they come back, they die. That is unacceptable. And that's his mission. He's got a heart as big as all outdoors. And I had him on the other day, and I'm crying, he's crying, everybody's crying, and yet when he was talking, it made me think, okay, I gotta Google something. My breath went away. Because we're hearing in so many reports every day, again, this is March the 24th, if you're live, that we're hearing statistical numbers. Yeah. Your area, I'm sure, is hearing it even more than we are, given the fact that you're right in the hotbed. I get notifications about all the local mayors for the Southern California. And so then I'll watch their news conferences, because one mayor in particular out of the San Diego market, I have a family member that is in, a captain with one of the fire departments, and captain paramedic, and they're front and center, right? And it's like, okay, I want to hear what's going on. We all want to be educated. However, when I Googled this number, I literally, my jaw dropped. And that was, I Googled how many people are dying every day of cancer. The number was over 1,600 people a day. And this is coming full circle now, because we're going to now talk about where you got that mask. You got that mask because you were visiting someone, right?
Yeah, I was visiting my dear friend Carla, that had been battling sarcoma, and she's doing great. They had a cocktail and they figured it out, and then all of a sudden, I don't know as much as for you do, but all of a sudden they stopped working and they couldn't find one that was going to work. So she had gone into the hospital thinking that it was like the cancer's doing more or something like that, but turns out she had gotten shingles, which still could have been, I guess, from that. I'm not sure if that happens that way. But it was a good thing she went in, and they took care of her. She was there for a month. When I was there visiting, she was told that she wasn't going to be able to go home yet. She was scheduled to go home, I think, the next day after I visited, and because her kidneys had stopped doing very well. So while I was there, this is how Carla's blessing in the here I come. At that time, it was like touch and go, like if we could go in or not, because they weren't sure if it was the shingles or not, or if the room she was in one of those rooms. I'd never been in one before. One door's there, you have to wear your gear, and then go stand in the little room, and then go in.
An isolation room, yeah.
It is. Okay. And so I went there with the full intent to really actually not to be able to see her, because some people had to just drop stuff off. So this is a very, very grateful. God put it in a spot where I could be able to go in. And I had told her I was parking and stuff, so I didn't really tell her I was in the hospital yet. So I'm putting everything on, and I'm sure it's everything that everybody's wearing, all the nurses and stuff. So I had like 3 different masks on, the gown, and I mean, I looked like probably some weirdo with it on. Then the nurse comes in, and she's got hers all tied up, all sexy. And we're like,
of course, they
oh,
know
yeah,
how to do that sexy
we got fashion
thing.
statements with these things. I mean, it looked really cute. She had the tie and all cute. They know what to do. But it's so funny. So she had requested, this is where fun comes in, right? So
Right.
I remember talking to Anita Myers about this, actually. Before I went down, she said, what are you guys doing today to bless somebody? I said, I was going to see my friend, and I'm going to listen to our favorite music on the way down, EDM music, and we're going to bring the fun energy. So she had requested Whoppers, the malted milk balls.
Oh, I
Now, I was
love
supposed to see her like 2 weeks before, I think, at her house. So I had been hanging on to this box of Whoppers. I told her, I said, I need to come see you stacked. Eat your Whoppers. She said, I can't believe you still have those.
Yeah, I know, got them. Around my house, I would have had to hide those, That would be like contraband around here. They would be like, I know they're here somewhere. Dog, go find them, It's like I don't know if she's slowing up for you guys. Okay, all right, we're back. Okay. So the internet's having some problems right now. You are in a very slow mode right now for me, my dear. You may need to exit out and come right back in so we can finish the story. Hopefully this is going to change because this is really important. Amy, if you're hearing me, why don't we? I'm going to go ahead and exit you out. I'm going to remove you. Come back in. In the meantime, letting you guys know, it's dragging and I can't see what your comments are to bring them up. But as we're waiting for Amy to come right back in, I want to let you know, everybody, thank you for joining us. We are back. The Service Hero Show is back. I am going to be inviting many and visiting with many of the service heroes that we've had in the past and updating and seeing where they're at, seeing how they're serving right now, what's up. And then I'm also going to be finding new service heroes. Okay, here we go. She came back in, so let's bring her up. All right. So you went slow mode on us, and so I had to finally just let you go because you froze. So
Okay.
so you had the where I think most of us dropped off on the story is you had the Whoppers, you had the the candy, if you will. You're listening to the amazing music. You're all dressed up like you're ready to be extra in some kind of a sci-fi movie and then you have Miss Little Sexy Thing coming in and you're like, oh, and see, I would have been you and that other one would have been like, oh, okay, this note to self, how you do that. Okay, fine. But okay,
Right?
so you get in there with your friend. How'd that go?
It really good. It was fun having the Whoppers. She's like, I could hear you outside the door. I knew you were here, which is good because that way she could be ready that I was coming because she didn't know yet.
Right.
So it was really good. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. I've never been in that situation before. She couldn't see my facial expressions. I mean, I had 3 masks on. The face thing, the head thing, the shield. So
Right.
that was tough to get that out of the way. We have something between us, and it's like, no,
Right.
talk and have fun anyway. And so it was. We're just really blessed that the window of being able to come in and see each other was awesome. So.
And I'm glad that you actually went into the explanation of all of that because this is relevant right now. There are so
Right.
many people that are possibly experiencing that sexy thing, nurse, or maybe they're not so sexy thing, that they're just trying to throw that stuff on right now. And that can be intimidating too, right? You were there, you're putting on the stuff, so you understood the layers. But had you not seen what it was and everything, that could be pretty intimidating, right?
Yeah, I had never been in that situation before. Yes, so it was weird. I feel that way too when I wear a mask in a store. Just it does feel like it puts up a. And even when I was in her room, I was like, I gotta get out of that thinking of I shouldn't be near her. I'm okay. It's okay. We're covered. And so it's that same thing they keep saying to everybody. Still say hi to each other. And you catch yourself going. It's like, no. Still talk to each other.
Right. That connection. It's the healing through connection piece. And so you went to see your friend. You were able to bring the candy that you had for that period of time, her favorite. You had that energy, that music. And then you shared with me last night what happened, right?
Yeah, she did pass away. It was a week of Monday. And I think for many of us, it's still not processed. For me, I know where she's at, and she's having the time of her life right now. So it's that she's in a much better place than we ever will be. Yet it's all of us that are still here, her children, grandchildren, and that's the sad part. That okay, how can we keep Carla's legacy alive, just like Sharon, right?
Right, just like Sharon. Yeah.
Yeah. And she loved her concerts. She loved her grandchildren. Her daughter would go to the concerts too, because they're kind of like young people concerts, if you will.
I like that.
They're EDM festivals, or they call them. And so it's fun to have that common bond with her and her daughter, that we got to experience that. So that's how much she loved life. She's like, I don't care if these little whippersnappers are here. I'm going.
I love it.
It's the first example of how much she didn't care. She had a lot of fun. And the last one we went to, our friend Ty, she was in a wheelchair, just because there's a lot of standing. And so there's places to sit down. We like to be up front.
Of course. That's where the action is.
Wheelchair, we're going up front. So
she
decorated her little chair with lights, because a lot of people are wearing their lights and everything. So she was lit up, and everybody was stopped, and they're like, wow, it's so great. So yeah. So she was lit up just like she is.
She's lit up, and she represents one, and yet she's affected so many other ones. And so you start adding those numbers up. You're affected. You mentioned her children, her grandchildren, friends, family. That's where a lot of the numbers end up coming together and huge. Yeah. And so when I was thinking about this, that in the United States, for one day, it's over 1,600. 1 year, 606, over 606,000 people. And we at Chemo Buddies, because you were like, this, you get it, this is huge. We at Chemo Buddies support the patient, but we also support the people that love and support them. Yeah. And we're the only one that's like this, because we're not out there gaining, raising money to do the research. Others are doing that, and they're, in whatever area you guys believe it's the right area, there are plenty doing it, and there's some really good science taking place. But there really hasn't been a place that what the mission is here and what we're working towards and how we're going about it. There really hasn't been that place where it can be all about that patient, that one, and be able to give them that experience, like like your friend had before, because she had that laughter, she had that love, she had you come, and you went, and we have been able to support so many that have gotten their wings, like Sharon and many others, names that I won't mention, out of love for their families, that we still support. And the bottom line is this, is that we need to be relevant now. We need to be relevant now. What we are facing right now is huge. It is unprecedented. Like you said, it's almost like a shock, and you're in a geographic area that's in shock.
Yeah.
And those people from our community are that much more at risk here and now because of their immune systems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that you took it upon yourself with the mask, this is where this all comes together, guys. The mask. And did the research to find out that if these material masks can be produced, and while they're in the process of getting it taken care of, you got to thank the companies that are out there that are retooling right now. I want to say thank you that they are not letting the dust settle, and they're saying, okay, we're going to step up, we're going to do this. We are at war with this right now, the here and now. So we won't be in this situation forever. But today, the here and now, there are companies such as some of the fabric companies that are actually, and this is where one of my volunteers got me the information this morning. It is individual. You had to call to see if they're one of the ones that are doing it, but in different geographic areas, Joann's and possibly some of the other fabric companies, but Joann's right now, call ahead, they are cutting the size of the material that needs to, and the right type of material,
right,
material masks, and they're asking for people to then sew them so that they can get these to where they need to go. So, and they're giving the material and what needs to be used for free, people that will commit to doing the work. That is today. And Tony, thank you for and your wife, thank you for getting this information to me. Call ahead. But if you have a sewing machine, you have any kind of simple skills, I'm sure it's just straight sewing. And
that's what I heard. Good pattern, easy pattern, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
This is huge. And when you brought this to me, I thought how interesting that Tony had brought this up just 24 hours earlier. You had said that you called Misty Lane and found out about, all of this, and that you were actually sending, right? You're in the process of now making sure that where you can send what you have currently, even if it's one or two, you're getting it to someone that can actually use it in the front lines, right?
Yep. So that's where the chemo buddies and the blessing that Carla gets to be, for me, God allowing me to get there, be in there and see Carla. Yeah. Through that, I got the mask, the kind of mask that Misty needs. I wouldn't have been there without that. So that's I was able to send that to Misty, and Misty is part of Chemo Buddies for Life.
Right. She's our vice president of the board, and she serves in what she does in her day job. She actually is working with many of the oncology patients that currently right now are dealing with cancer. And in fact, she and I are going to be going live within the community tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and bringing up more relevant and current information. And so if someone's watching this right now, and I'm sorry that we've had delays in our technology here and everything, and just know that, I want to say thank you for being here, William and Martin and David and Darren and Kevin and Joy and Amanda and Christopher and Mikey and Helene, all of you, and I'm sure that there's more that I don't see, but I want to say thank you for being with us. Share this out, because today, again, I keep saying the date because everything is changing every day. But as of today, we know that on March the 24th, Tuesday, 2020, there is a shortage of critically needed masks. These are masks, these N95, right? Is that what?
That's what they are.
Right.
They're the blue. Yeah.
They are why they are so important. It was explained to me why they are so important is that the cellular level of this particular virus, it will get it actually will help to filter that out. Certain masks, that virus is, the cell is smaller than that mask is rated for. These particular masks will help to combat and protect those people that are on the front lines serving us. And we need to, it's just like back, the stories of World War II, and it's the, old tires and the, let's bring in the this and the that, and let's utilize every single ounce of every resource that we have for the war effort. It's been declared by, I don't care what you think about the politics. I really don't want, I'm not going to go there. Not.
Yeah, no.
But whatever you think of it, I don't care. The bottom line is this is a virus. And I am the president and co-founder of a nonprofit that is serving a community that is at risk.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to not, I'm taking this format to say the here and now, we can do something. So who knows how to sew? I do. I'm calling today. I'm going to call Joanne's and my local Joanne's, and I'm going to see if they're one of the groups. And if they're not, I'm going to call the other, and I'm going to ask why not. And then I'm going to call the other material stores. And I'm going to ask them if they are. There's some that are independents. They may be open, they may not be. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to leave messages if I have to. Who is with me? Who will do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing that here in some areas too. So I think there's Facebook groups about this, or they are like, I'm sure like what you just said, where can you find them? Even if they're not open, I bet you can still message them and you might be able to go pick it up. Maybe they can leave it at the door.
Right.
So you're not seeing them, but they can leave it outside.
And then we're going to end on this because, okay, so everybody, this is the public service announcement because we do PSAs together, right? And it feels good to be doing this with you today. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, we're we're good. We're in it to win it, guys. In it to win it, and we're talking lives are at stake. So this is, we're in it to win it, and we're going to win it for lives, and alive, wink, wink. And so, but with that said, something you brought up to me that you figured out because you're serving also. God, yeah, I know. You know where I'm going with this. Okay, you got your family.
You went in on this.
You're gonna wink, wink. Yeah, you know what? You told me, so we're going there. Okay, so another you should know, and we're going to educate on, and we'll leave it at this, and then I'll let you have a precious nugget to share with us. But what this is a precious nugget, trust me, is that you have your parents that you're making sure that you go and you get items for them, and then you're dropping them off, and you're telling me this story, and I'm asking, they don't have electricity, and you're like, no, they have electricity, but you were telling me that you need to plan something before you start going and doing these errands, like going and picking up the material at Joann's or one of these other places, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
The only thing they keep telling us, drink a lot of fluids. It's like when you take those diets and they're like, drink a gallon water a day. Okay, if you've done that, you got to plan your bathroom trips. I mean, like plan. You know where all the bathrooms are on the way to work, on the way home. You like go potty all the time. So they're doing that, telling everybody to drink a lot of fluids. So I'm like, okay. So I'm out shopping for Mom, and then I'm dropping off the care packages to Misty and another gal, and to the post office. And I'm doing good. And all of a sudden, I'm like not doing so good anymore. Like I go to the bathroom, and I'll go. No, they're closed. I'll go. No, they're not going to let me in. It's this electricity thing, right?
Right.
So then I'm like, I'll go at my mom's. No, in my mom's house. So I went back to the grocery store. I didn't even ask them. I just walked straight to the bathroom. I'm like, I've already been here today. So
I wanted a mission.
So plan your bathroom trips.
That's the moral of the story. So if you're going to go out and you're going to sew some of these things, or you're going to find these masks, and do not send them if you were sick, or at least clear it before, but in this situation you weren't. And so, but plan your bathroom trips, guys, because I don't know that many of us want to be doing those adult diaper things, right? No.
This might be gone now.
Yeah, they might be in short supply too. You never know. Yeah. So Amy, as we start to close this Service Hero show, what would you like to leave everybody with?
Remember to laugh. Have fun with it. Focus on the funny things you see coming through Facebook, because there are some cute ones. If any of you are on TikTok, and even if you're not yet, there's some really cute ones they have over there, and they are educating the kids too, because the young ones are on there, as we all know. Some of them aren't understanding because they don't know. Right, I don't think they're meaning to do what they're doing. They just don't know. And so there are some like doctors on there, and they're doing some fun things to teach the kids. But yeah, focus on those things, I'd say, and let yourself have the moment of, I think I need to cry for a minute, right? Because I've had to like stop and go, why am I feeling this? Right. So, okay, I need to realize this is what's happening, because ignoring it lady was not helping. It was making me worse. So just acknowledge it, and it's there, and okay, now call a friend. Yeah.
Right. Check up on your friends, check up on your family, write those notes, make those phone calls. 3, 3, and 3, it was suggested, and I like this. 3, 3, and 3 is 3 texts, 3 phone calls, 3 notes in the mail.
Cute.
And 3, 3, and 3, 3 by 3. And and if we're doing that with each other, and we're serving each other, because we all have that service hero inside of us, we will win. We are going to win. And then remember that the numbers I talked about before, this is a moment in time that we will win, but cancer is not going to be going away when the pandemic does. So we talked about one, but then there were many. Get involved, make a difference, because we are dealing with life. It is about life. So thank you, Amy. And as we close 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service, Amy Morrison, you are a service hero. You have shared with us today laughter and hope and heart, and really, shed a few tears with us, and stories to inspire, because those that have gained their wings, yes, we don't want to forget who they are, and we will keep remembering what they taught us. what we need to learn from them. And if anything, what I'm hearing right now from those that have gone on is that life continues. Their names, their stories are continuing, and we're going to continue doing that. And then we're going to make a difference because they did, and we can too. So thank you for being here today. Everybody, I am going live every day at this time in the day to inspire, to laugh, to share. I want to hear more of what everybody's doing today, tomorrow, to make a difference in what we're getting through. And then also, we have the closed group chat for Chemo Buddies for Life every day at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Join us in the evening. You have to join the chat because it is a closed group, because it's a protected space, and we have a lot of fun there. All right. Make it a great day. Bye.